Welcome aboard, boys. I'm your host, Anthony Thompson, founder of Divorced Dads of America. And this is the rebuild. This is a good story here today that I'm going to get into. And if you can see this, if you're listening, you won't be able to see this, but I'm wearing my beers gear. And I'm not talking about alcohol here. I'm talking about the Bear Down Chicago Bears. And I know there's a lot of people that probably going to hate on me. I always tell people it's my cross to bear. Those of you that love sports and football as I do, it's a tough thing being a fan of the Chicago Bears. Let me just tell you that. So by the time you hear this episode, there'll be a few episodes, so they may not be in first place. But right now, as I'm recording this, they're in first place. And that's something I haven't heard or seen in a long time. In fact, and those of you that understand the Bears' dilemmas and you follow a sports team that's terrible, you'll get how good that feels. I ran into a guy this weekend at my son's football game. He was wearing a Cleveland Browns jersey. Cleveland Browns jersey. I literally walked up to him and I said, "Bro, that is loyalty defined. That is character. That is the ultimate." And those of you that follow teams that are terrible or have had a long running dismal seasons, you will understand it's loyalty. It's your cross to bear. It gives you character. So there's my tangent. That's what I'm wearing. Today we're going to dig into a bad night spiraling and a client of mine that we got on board with, how shame almost destroyed this dad. If you're not in our school group, in our school community, just get in there, dude. It's free. It's tools, it's frameworks, it's systems, it's accountability. It's everything that you probably don't want to do that you need to do. And that's the start. That's the place. Those of you that want to apply to work one-on-one with me, there's a couple spots that I'll be opening up soon. Message me. We'll talk about that later. Here's the roll. Here's where we're going to go today. But tell you the story. I'm going to give you the data and the science behind it because that's important. There's going to be scriptures involved as well because that's important. At the end, I'm going to give you some questions. You're going to have some things to work on to say, hey, where am I missing it? Where am I blowing it? How do I, guys, every one of us have a blind spot. And if you don't understand that, then this is the wrong show for you and this is the wrong place for you. We're here to grow. We're here to transform 1 million dads to rebuild their life in the next generation. This isn't just for you, it's for your kids. These are blind spots to get you better. This is where real growth happens. So here's what happened to a client of mine, all right? Every divorced dad has this moment, the moment where it spirals, the moment you're ashamed to even say it out loud, right? Tonight, I'm going to tell you today, whenever you're listening, whatever time zone that you're in, I'm going to tell you a story about a dad who hit that moment and how he rebuilt himself in it. He didn't do it in the moment. He totally sucked. And I get it because I've been there too. You don't win every battle moving forward. So many of you dads, when I ask you what's going on, you give me all of the good things that are going on. And that's great. There's a lot of good things. But the reality is that your guys aren't following me because you're crushing it in life. You're following because you actually want to learn. Now, here's how you accelerate the learning process is you get humble. You say, you know what? I don't know. I don't know anything. And even for me, look, I don't know everything. I mess up with my kids. I'm here because one of the things that I've learned is that the more that I can teach, the more that I can instruct, the more that I can do those things, I accelerate. I go further. My kids are better. All of those things. And that's why another element of this movement is creating chapters across America. I like to get 1,000. And then we go and we start taking over countries. That's how this works. So here's the story. All right. Dad starts texting me. It's a Friday night. And he's texting me about that he lost his cat. And he's getting a dog soon. And so he's a very organized individual. And his children weren't with him. 2 girls, young girls, they're not with him. He loses the cat. On top of losing the cat, he then calls them that night to tell them that they lost the cat. Now, the kids are with his ex, and so the girls start crying, and they're crying on the phone. And now he's feeling it. Shoot, I blew it. I did this. I shouldn't have done this. I'm wrong. Now they're crying. Now I put this on my co-parent, on my ex. And that sucks. Nobody wants to be taking care of the kids when they're crying. It's just, especially for a dad. You want to be the hero, and he wanted to be the hero. And he's realizing it after the fact of what he was doing. And he was making good moves. It's just the timing may not have been there. And a lot of dads, a lot of us, like, we're impatient people. We'll just send things out, full send. And sometimes we forget that there's some repercussions for it. So that's what was going on. Panic kicked in. Now he can't find the cat. The girls are upset. The girls aren't with him, so he can't calm them down. He can't kind of make that up. And so you can see this spiral that then happens. Beyond that spiral is he starts feeling about moments with his girls that he's missing, moments that, he can't take care of them anymore. He's not in the house anymore. And that spiral goes into other areas of looking at photos on his phone and feeling worse about it and feeling like a failure and all of those things, right? He said, it felt like a total loss, felt like I ruined everything. And here it is. He had an awesome week going. Like, we were in line, in tune, in check, all of our stuffs, everything was rolling. And then boom, this hit. So I want to give you a couple things of what to do differently, what that looks like in your scenario, what we talked about, and what's the data behind it. All right. So let's get into some of the neuroscience data, because you want to be able to understand what's going on. Some of you are like, I don't really care. Look, we are going to get better. When you play sports, you watch game film. This is game film. The game film of your life determines the championships that you win. Do you recognize them? Are you aware to them? And so my client and I are dialoguing back and forth, and he's telling me how he blew it. I say, look, dude, just stop. Like, we are aware. It is not a nonstop hockey stick curve to the top. Success is ups and then downs and then ups and then downs. And really the success, and the quote that I love from Winston Churchill, is that it's going from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm. In between there, no loss. So the neuroscience says it like this: emotional spirals activate the amygdala, flooding the body with cortisol. So now you're getting like this poison in the body. And according to the National Institute of Mental Health, cortisol spikes can last up to 3 hours after an emotional event. So your decision-making, as in those moments, they're not great decisions. That's why we always tell, and I always tell guys, and if you have the divorced dad, the ultimate toolkit, it'll tell you, hey, dude, just stop. Don't make any big decisions while you're in that moment. You're flooded with cortisol. Your brain is as foggy as it can get. It's in a terrible state for several hours, and you're wrecked. It's not great decision-making time. Those of you, this happens as well. As you could be, many of you might be in it with lawyers, or maybe something else happened where you and your co-parent, or maybe it's stressful with the cash flow. That clouds your judgment, okay? Fathers under emotional distress are 40% more likely to make reactive decisions. I say this to dads every single time. And those of you that are listening and you're having trouble making decisions right now in your life, or you feel foggy, you're unclear, you don't have confidence, most of the time this is the reason. Most of the time this is why you don't hire a coach or get help, because your decision making is crap. And then when you finally clear for a second, you're so busy with life and with everything else and distractions and FOMO and comparison that you're back into this loop of just nonstop adrenaline, cortisol, and you never get a chance to say, you know what? How can I make better decisions? Making better decision is getting all of that crap out of your body. Psalms 46:10 says, be still and know that I am God. What does knowing that I am God means? It means that you have a trust. It means that you could take a step back and say, hey, let's make some good decisions here. How do I do that? Well, maybe I should shut off all of this cortisol and all these brain bombs and get peaceful. Alcohol, in addition, reduces the cortex function by 12 to 20%, increasing impulsivity and emotional reactivity. Guys, one of the reasons why alcohol and weed and porn are so toxic is that it disturbs your decision making. I know I'm talking to somebody here. Guys, Stop it. How do I stop it? We can walk down a road to do that. I'm challenging every single dad where you have alcohol. I challenge you to stop for a period of time and just see the difference in your emotions, what you think about, and why you're having those things. Well, it's this and this. Look, I'm telling you that because I did the same thing. I had every excuse in the book of why I deserve it. It's worth it. All this sort of stuff. It's all BS. It's all ways, limiting beliefs to keep you stuck low, low energy, low frequency, not making great decisions. Again, you're reduced 12 to 20%. Let's just take both of those. Emotional distress, 40%. Drinking, you're now at 20%, or weed or gummies, whatever the heck you do, mushrooms, I don't care. Now you're at a 60% reactive decision making. That's not going to put you in a great space. Co-parenting, leadership, business, any of it. That is not going to help your body physically, mentally, spiritually. It's full of toxicity. Let me jump into some of the rational emotional behavior therapy. Then I'll get into some of the questions for you, okay? He wasn't suffering because he made a mistake. He was suffering because he believed the mistake meant these things. Everything in our life is the perspective of it. It's the lens. How do you see it? You know, when I talk to in the sports framework with my son, and he drops a ball, it's not about focusing on dropping the ball. It's about how can I get better? What's the next ball I can catch? Why did I drop that? Where were my eyes? Where were my hands? Okay, cool. Next one. I got the next one. So it's the framework. It's the perspective of it. So he was saying in this particular instance with the cat and everything that was going on, I'm a bad dad. I ruined everything. My girls won't trust me. You feel like you lose some co-parenting status, Dad, because there's always this little bit of a juggle that we want to be a little bit better than our ex, right? We want to do a little bit more. We want to be a little bit more successful. And that jumps in there. That's ego. That jumps in there. So I had to help him rework and rewrite it too. I had a hard moment. I'm rebuilding. This is the game film. We're going to review it and we're going to do better. Now you know where it's coming from. Now you know what it sounds like. Now you know all of those things. Proverbs 24:16 says this, the righteous fall 7 times and they rise again. Again, right in line with Winston Churchill. You go from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm, with joy, with, hey, what am I learning? How am I growing? Life is happening for me. Life is happening for me. You didn't fail because you fell. You fail when you stop rising. You fail when you give up. You fail when you throw away time with distractions, with numbing out, with all those things. Okay? So again, the challenge is about to come up. I'll give you the FAST system, how this works inside of our system, right? Number 1 is focus and faith. So what actually happened is the focus. What actually happened here? Strip the drama, strip all the other stuff. What actually happened? And that's how we had to look at this situation. Dude, what actually happened? The cat left the house. You had a few beers and you made a quick thing. That's what happened. Okay. So that was the focus of what you had in that moment. That's something that maybe it was already in there. A is awareness and accountability. What triggered the spiral? Alcohol, pain, loneliness. We dissected what that looked like for his life. What was it? Why did it happen? Why does it keep happening? Then he got into A, he got accountable. He was texting me. We were texting each other. Hey, this is going on. I said, hey, welcome to the lesson. Welcome to the game film. Welcome to how we're going to unpack this. Welcome to awareness. Welcome to the accountability. Awesome. Great job, dude. Great. Awesome. We're going to get better. You're going to make it through this. Your girls are going to love you even more. No big deal. S is strategy and systems. How do we prevent the same trigger stack next time? And all of you guys know, anytime we go into these situations, it's about understanding the enemy, understanding the opponent, and how you will be attacked, right? This isn't, once it happens a few times, guys, it is not a out of the blue scenario. I'm going to tell you right now, most 80 to 90% of the attacks that you have, the spiraling, all those things, you already know where they're coming from. The problem that you have is you don't have a framework or a system or a strategy for when it comes and what to do. That's the difference. And so that's what we did with the client of mine. We stacked it, we reviewed it, we went over it again, what to do, how it works. And then next time you're good, you're on the run. And just remember the neuroscience of these stacks and these systems and these transformations, it's 63 days to rewire something in your brain. Neuroscience, that's the stats and that's a study. It's not 21 days. 21 days is a habit. It's not a rewiring, a reconfiguring of your mindset and of a thought and of an action. Different thing. Take some time. Be ready. Consistent. Do it. T is transformation. What truth will you carry into the next moment? That's what I had to get with him. What truth will you take into the next moment? What's the transforming moment of this scenario? And that's what we built out. So here's a challenge for you, reflective questions. And then we're going to get you out of here today. Do these, do the work. Again, if you're not in the free school community, jump into it, ask questions. We have weekly calls. If you want to grow and accelerate faster than you've ever had before, if you want the next 90 days to be the greatest 90 days of your life, get in there. Here's the challenge. Write down one moment this month you wish you could do differently. This is the awareness package. Then write the version of you who would handle it differently. What would you like to do different there? What did it look like? What does it sound like? What does it feel like? That version is your next identity. And guys, many of you are sports guys. Many of you, maybe even like the Blue Angels. This is a simple way of visualization in real life. And visualization is simply putting yourself into the future of where you're supposed to be. We do it in sports. Guys are visualizing. I have mentors and friends, the ex-NFL guys, and they would go into the field and they visualize the game before it happens. I have my son, every time he plays sports, visualize the game before it happens. Visualize the catches, the tackles, all of those things to be mentally prepared before you're getting into it. Why don't guys do this? Because they're distracted. Because they want to turn the TV on, they want to scroll their phone, they want to have some beers. If you visualize, and when you visualize your life of where you want it to be, what does the cash flow look like? Visualize it. What does the home look like? What does the vacations look like? What does dad life look like? What are you talking like? What is your mouth saying? Who are the friends that you're hanging around with? Visualize them. Reflection questions. Here's 3 and get you going. What moment recently filled you with shame? 2, what belief made it heavier than it needed to be? And 3, what resonated the most in this episode? What does the new version of you do next time? All these questions are in the show notes. Again, jump into the school group. Those who want to apply to work one-on-one with me, send me a message. Jump on Divorced Dads of America on Instagram. Give us a follow. Share it. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one. God bless you.